Okay, so sorry. Okay, yeah. Good morning, everyone, and I would like to officially or cordially welcome you all to the second day of our GDSC Unilag Career Series. And I'd like to say you all are welcome, and I'm happy to see that you all joined early. So, before the meeting proper, I'd just like us to give like a few minutes for other people to join, and then we start. Just like 5 minutes. And while we're waiting, I'll just explain the purpose of the career week for those who are joining in for the first time on the second day. So the DDSC Unilag Career Week is is a 4 days program which was started yesterday, and this program is to um, put a highlight on like different aspects of like the career process or the career phases that students or the student developers can face while trying to like transition into the industrial area that is like bridging the gap. So we had our first session yesterday, and that treated career growth as student developers. And today's session will be on um, today's session will be on resumes and cover letters, and then we'll have the rest of the sessions on Monday and on Tuesday. So there will be a break tomorrow, which is Sunday, and it's going to be the same time, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. So by by 11:05 we'll start the session properly. Thank you very much for your patience. Okay, so it's 11:05 on the clock, and I think we can start now. And then others will join as the meeting progresses. So, with no further ado, I would like to invite our guest speaker for today, in person of Chika Sonia Nzekwe. Chika is a marketing and communications professional with a very strong passion for impactful technology that benefits Nigerian youth. She is a graduate of English, and she is a writer who employs her storytelling skills in bringing brands to life. In her free time, when she's not reviewing CVs or teaching soft skills, she's either reading or sending out newsletters to recent graduates and young professionals. Can we all please welcome Chika as she takes over with her presentation?
Good morning, everyone. I was really looking forward to like an applause or something, but I guess in the era of virtual meetings, there just has to be like a way we should get around that. All right, can everyone hear me, please?
Yes, we can hear you.
Fantastic. Okay. If you can't hear me, I would like for you to put it in the chat box. It'll be helpful. Can you see me now? Great. Hi, Shimilori. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Fantastic. You can see me. Incredible. Okay, so I'll just jump right to it. My name is Chika. Hi, George. Fantastic. Okay. My name is Chika Nzekwe. My daytime job, I work as a digital media strategist for a financial institution. Um, I've been at the digital marketing journey for say about 3 years now and counting. And I'm excited to be here today to talk to you guys about your CV and your cover letter. Now, usually when I start off with conversations like this, I like to ask people what you think a CV is. So I'll be looking at the chat box, your messages, to actually read out what CVs are. And so let me know, what do you think a CV is, what do you think a cover letter is, and what it is supposed to do. Um, and so while we're at it, I will get some of the cover letters I have used in sending out applications because I wanted this to be really hands-on. Yes, the notice was short, but I'll try for us to get out the best as we can from this session. Also, I have a sample here that I'm supposed to also share with you guys because also in my free time I help people do like CV revamps and all. So let's see. I share my entire screen. You're going to see how many tabs I have open. Regardless. Guys, I'm waiting for your response. So let me know what you think a CV is and what it's supposed to do. And now I have this CV here of an actual person. So it's not, it wasn't coined. This is an actual person's CV that I helped worked on last year. Now, this was what he sent me first. Okay, so while I'm awaiting your responses, I think I'll just go ahead and let you know what I think a CV is, right? I see. Fantastic. Oh, George has already responded. A summary of your professional records, fantastic. It's meant to give a first impression, awesome. It shows your skills, achievements, and accomplishments, amazing. Yes, it does. Now, the way I'd like to capture that, all you've just said right now is your CV is a succinct document that captures your skills, your professional background. Um, ah, Shimilari is helping me out already. That usually used in job applications is supposed to highlight your educational and professional qualifications. Absolutely. Now this is definition, but the one word I wanted us to put in place is The one word I wanted us to put in place is the fact that it is a succinct document. Like, we should not take that for granted. It's a succinct document. By succinct, what do I mean? It is meant to be not detailed, but it should capture all the relevant information that you need the employer to know. So take, for example, before now, when people want to apply for jobs, you find that in their CV, information, pieces of information like your date of birth, your native, your town, all of those irrelevant informations are not supposed to be on your CV, because your CV is supposed to be something that your employer can quickly glance through to be sure if you're a right fit for the role, to even get an invitation for your interview. If I'm going at a really fast pace, let me know. Now, here's the thing. Think of the best combo: beans and bread, ewagonya and bread, or tea and bread, or rice and stew. Like, with the best combos, that's how CVs and cover letters work. While the CV is sharing all your pieces of information aptly captured, your cover letter is your way of introducing yourself to your employer. How do I mean? Now, take for example, because you haven't met me before, to an extent, um, Chidi helped in introducing me by reading out my bio. Now, in that way, you've met me without even seeing my face or even knowing who I am or what I look like. Now, that is what a cover letter is meant to do for you. Your cover letter is your way of presenting your best foot to your employer. That's why, in a sense, it's called cover letter. It's a way of you letting them know that you're the best fit for the role and how skilled you are, while at the same time introducing yourself. So you see how all of these things, there are so many things clubbed in one. But again, there are primary things that your cover letter and your CV is supposed to do. Now, I will circle back. CV first. It's supposed to capture succinctly your educational and professional details. Now, what does that mean? Your primary school education really doesn't have anything to do with the role you are applying to. Secondary school, not really. They want to know the tertiary education you went to. They want to know the skills you have and how skilled you are. They also equally want to know what other trainings you've taken. Take, for example, have a different background. You studied engineering, and who knows, you're trying to venture into like a technical role, or you're trying to venture into a non-technical role in this sense. And in order to get into that role, you've had to take some certifications. If you did, you need to include those as well. And then they also want to know if you've taken on any volunteering jobs, any internships, things that are relevant to the role. Now, usually, I will tell you that with CVs, this is how a CV is meant to be. This is how a cover letter is meant to be. But the actual truth is, these things are fluid. How do I mean? They are supposed to serve certain they're supposed to serve certain roles at different times. Now, here's what I mean. Half the time when employers are recruiting, they put out a keyword as to who they are looking for. By keyword, I mean the job role. They might tell you, oh, we're recruiting for a copywriter, or we're recruiting for a developer who is skilled in so, so, and so. Now, when you get a brief like that, do with it what you want, but also make sure that you infuse those keywords into your application to give you a better chance of getting through to the next stage. How do I mean? Take, for example, I'm not a techie person, but I would try my best to use lots of like technical terms. Take, for example, they're recruiting for a designer, a UI UX designer, right? Now, if you've done some work in the past, maybe it's an internship role, but you've also taken on like core job roles that were not UI UX related. It is important that in your CV in that moment, you highlight those roles that you have done, the relevant things relating to UI UX. You highlight them, you share in detail, not your job description, but the achievements you have made while on the role. This is another misconception that people have when setting up their CVs. They believe that CVs, yes, while highlighting your educational and professional background, people tend to include their job descriptions in the CV. That's not what the CV is meant for. Your CV is meant to capture what you have achieved in the role, if they were exceptional. Did you do something? Did you work on an app that eventually helps people do something better with their lives? Did you work on something that um, extensively, maybe you watched it grow, you built it, and then because of some feature that you included, the trajectory of the app went from 0 to 100? Those are things that you're supposed to include in your CV. And so you capture exceptional things like achievements in each of your roles. You capture it there and you put it in. When that is done, um, now, this is me just brushing through. We're all going to go through the CV to see what the CV of the sample I have here, what it looked like before and what it looked like after when we're done. And so after that, um, do you have like any exceptional achievements? Were you given awards for certain things? That is the time to include it in your CV. It doesn't matter, even if it's the awards you got from a university, everything counts. Everything is relevant in the grand scheme of things. It would shed light on the fact that they know you are an achiever, you are a high flyer, and they would want such person on their team. Now, another thing that I should also highlight is a CV is meant to show, not tell. Now, this was why I said that you should not include your job descriptions in your CV. What you should be doing is, while it's important to highlight your job role, you should equally let them know the exceptional things that you have done. Now, in so doing, I do not mean that you should lie, because guess what? On your CV, like when you eventually scale through to your interview stage, they would want to find out in detail how you achieved those things. And if you're not able to defend that, then it becomes a problem. So that is one thing that you should equally put into consideration. Now, if you're listening to me and you're wondering, what if I have not done anything in the past and there's nothing for me to highlight as an achievement? I promise you that there's something you have done. All you just need to do is do some deep searching to be sure of what those achievements are. Because, like, in layman terms, we might not see them as achievements, but they actually are. So, take for example, you volunteered to help a certain team to work on their websites. That is a lot. And so it's something that you want to highlight. And if you have the metrics to back it up, to say, oh, you built a website that had so and so number of visitors, and it had so and so number of retained people that kept coming back to the site, that is something worthy of highlighting. Um, and so I think that's going to be it for the CV. So I will now head on to show you what the CV was before, and then what it is now. So this is Quadri's CV. When starting out, he started out with pieces of information that we needed to know: his name, what he currently does, um, the what's it called, his phone number, contact details, his portfolio, which is equally very important, and his social media, the most important one in job search, the social media platform, LinkedIn. Now, here's his summary. He basically just highlighted the languages that he had proficiency in, what he works with, and the tools he has used, right? And then he went on to highlight the work experience. And then after that, he included projects. And after that, he then, I think, yes, then education, and then certifications and awards in some sense. Now, while there's absolutely nothing wrong, because I mean, this would work for any application, this CV is such a good fit that the work that needed to be done on it was very little. Now, while this is a good fit, we should equally not forget that human beings we are visual animals. How do I mean? We see things before, or we visually accept things before we move on to look at like the intricate details. Now, here's what I further mean. If you were given a meal to eat, because of, and the meal is presented like in the best manner, you'd be endeared to eat that food because of how it looks. And that's the same thing that works with a CV. If a CV is captured in a manner that is aesthetically pleasing, your recruiter, if it is done manually, because I equally need to note that sometimes for bigger organizations, they do this screening with machines. Now, these machines are fed with pieces of information that they should look out for in people's CV, which was why I highlighted earlier that keywords are important. Keywords are important because it would help them filter out their applicants to know the people that are relevant for the role and people that are not. And so, which is why keywords are important. If they are looking for a UI UX designer, they're not looking for a UI UX researcher, they're not looking for a UX copywriter, no. And so you should equally make sure that you infuse the keywords when setting up your CV. Now back to the look of it. Now looking at this CV, I mean it's very basic, right? It's the way it's done. This is something that can easily be done on Microsoft Word. Now I equally need to highlight that in order for you to get the best templates for CVs, because there are lots of platforms that allows you um, that gives you free access to templates and things that would help you set up your CV. You can take a look at them. Some include visual CV. Google Docs has their own documents. They have their own format as well. um, Microsoft equally has like templates that you can use. Now, um, while it's important that to highlight the beauty of things, it's equally important that we should also pay attention to the grammar that is used, the use of language, how things are done. Because I mean, you can't say, oh, because I'm applying to a technical role, certain things don't matter, how you frame your tenses, how you capture things that are written in the documents. No, all of that play into detail because guess what? Before they get to the technical part of the interview, right? The human resource person that's going to screen you to get to the interview, she's not a technical person. And so whatever technical jargon you're speaking is none of her business. She just wants to know that you have done your due diligence, that you have captured the relevant information that are needed, that you are even going to be relevant to the role, and that you're a right fit for the role. And so, which is why I am going into detail in this manner. All these pieces of information, they matter. Now, um, I mean, the formats that he equally used is great. Pieces, the profile, the summary, work experience, and then projects worked on, then education, and then certification. Now, what I would have done was a bit different. Now, to be honest, a CV that is 3 pages long is quite a lot. CVs are supposed to be kept within the spaces of page limits, 1 to 2 pages. You shouldn't getting a third page on your CV. Mm-mm. Instead, if you feel like you have so much to capture, look for things that are irrelevant to take out from the CV. Look for things that are relevant to take out from the CV. Now, let me show you what I now did with his documents. Why is this so difficult? You know what? I'll just cancel. Can you still see my screen? Hi guys, can you still see my screen?
Yes, yes.
Ah, fantastic. Okay. All right. So stop sharing that one and I'll share this one. Great. Can you see this now? Yes, you can. Okay. Um, fantastic. Oh, okay. Bolu Atife, can you see it now? It's showing now. Okay. Good. Now this is what I did with the CV. I used a template and then I put his pieces of information on one side of his CV, and then I put like a two-liner, to introduce him. So Obviously, these are like the job titles. Again, if it is not relevant, because at the time I think this person was applying for a certain internship program in a foreign company, and which was why he needed to do the CV revamp. That's what I helped him with. And so because of the role that he was applying to, that was why I put a job title. If it was not relevant to the role, that would not need to be there. So his name, the job title, pieces of information, his information here, contact details, as well as his GitHub page, and then this are things that were done. Now, after the summary, the next thing I highlighted was experience, right? Now, also look on the side, because I needed to keep this CV at 2 pages as highlighted earlier. And so we needed to put information, make maximum use of the space, and then put the pieces of information that were relevant in the CV as well. So I moved the skills to the side, moved certifications to the side, then highlighted the actual experiences that he's had, which were just two that were equally relevant to the role. So you can see software engineer here, and then we highlighted all he's done. And then here, data fellow, we highlighted all that was done as well. Then after that, there's education. And so we highlighted, usually if you had like an exceptional result, if you were like your top of class, it's important to put it there, highlight it there. There's no shame in showing if you're a smart kid or not. If the case is not, if that's not the case, then a simple title works perfectly. And then we now went on to include the projects he's worked on, and then the other things. And so that's the way to do it. Left to me, because he needed to show them that he has done some things. That was why we included these projects, and also added like direct links to the works that he has done on each of those portions. Now, if he did not need to include those links, for me, the project aspect would have been limited. Now, so this is what I mean by it being aesthetically pleasing. The moment you saw the CV, did you see the difference between this and the first one that I shared with you? Guys, I'm waiting for your response. So, did you see the difference between this one and the first one that I shared earlier? Clear difference, fantastic. You can see that this one, while still making use of your space, it is very aesthetically pleasing. It is great to look at. Like once you look at it, it is inviting. You can see, and then it's um, the use of fonts and how we arranged it. Now, that's pretty much it. So his name. Now, this template, I will not lie to you, this template is available on Google Docs. It is available on Google Docs. So don't believe that things are not available. They are. So take, for example, if you go here, there are like a plethora of information that's available to you. Look at this. So this is the template gallery. You would find, please let me know if you can still see my screen. Oh no, you stopped seeing
We
my
can no longer
screen.
see your screen.
Yeah, I realized that. So let me, you know what, I'm just going to share my entire screen. For you guys, you can't, oh. Okay. Great. So when we go to Google Docs, right? So all I just needed to do was go to Google Docs. If you own a Gmail account, you have access to this. You'd see resume. There's an entire field. Now, this is the template I used. You can always work around things. You can use the colors you want. So this is the template. You can use the colors you want. You can tweak things however it is you choose. Just move things around here and there. There are a lot more that you can do still on this. Even Microsoft, let me see if I can open my Office's account of my Microsoft. You can see a good number of templates templates. Just do it. And here's the thing, right? When you're applying to roles, you cannot apply, what's this thing called? You cannot apply to different roles that have different job descriptions with one CV. No, don't be that lazy person. You have to draft out a different CV for every different role that you are applying to. And when you do that, um, make sure that you name your document with um, your name and the role you're applying for. This is equally important. Now, here you can find, in fact, look at that. There's an entire tab. Can you still see my screen, please?
Yes.
Great. So you can see that even on Microsoft, there are a good number of templates that you can play around with, a lot that you can play around with. And if you use Microsoft Word, I think there's something that they did that's super amazing. If you are looking to apply to a certain role, and the moment you start working on your CV, they will give you samples of um, job descriptions of people that you're supposed to imitate what their CVs look like. They give it to you on the side. Let me see if that is still here while we're at it. And so just doing that alone, let's create one. So doing that alone sets you apart. You don't want a situation whereby um, your CV is not well put together. It's not, if it's a place that is quite small and they're looking at the intricate details, you don't want the CV to not get you in the door. No, put your best foot forward, which was why I said that the CV is a document that is succinct. It should have the best pieces of information about you. It should have your best foot forward. Like, this is you. Basically, it's like when they tell you are going for an awards ceremony and they tell you to get dressed. Your CV is you getting dressed for that award ceremony. And so it is you putting your best foot forward. Like, present yourself. Oh, okay. Isn't it? I think I've responded to that already. The CV, the templates, they are available on Google Docs. They're available on Microsoft. There's also Visual CV, visualcv.com. They have free templates that you can use. They are equally amazing templates as well. Indeed has templates. So you know what? I'll just type it in here for you guys. Microsoft Word. Okay, there's that. There's visualcv.com. There's Indeed. They have templates that you can use. So if you um, check these sites, you would find lots of templates that would amazing. There are lots of templates that would help you in setting up your CV. Now, I hope, yes, Canva has as well. Now, here's another thing. These are like my personal practices, right? Now, I need to highlight that while CVs have templates that you can work with, you equally can tweak your CV to suit your needs. So take, for example, you're applying to a role. I'm not sure, I think I'm out of examples at this point, but you're applying to a role and you want to show them more of what you've done than highlighting it. You can also have a virtual CV. How do I be? You can have your CV on your personal website, highlighting in detail all you have done. If it's leading them to your GitHub account to show the projects you have worked on with people or like personally, you can do that as well. Now, can I find a sample of a virtual CV? I know that, but this person is not a technical person. Let me see if I can find it. Feromi Okafor. Okay. I'll try to share this right now. Now, this is the CV of this person, an actual person, Feromi Okafor. And it's her website, but it's literally a CV. She goes in detail because now This is the versatility of having a virtual CV. You get to put in the things that you want because this is not a traditional CV. You're not submitting it to any person per se. And so you highlight your summary, work experience, right? And then you can see with the work experience, she's highlighting in detail where she has worked. They have all clickable links, right? And everything has clickable links, things that once you click on it, it takes you directly to the things that she has done, the results she yielded. If you're into digital marketing and you worked on things that had amazing metrics or amazing insights, you go ahead and highlight them here, right? And so this is the versatility of having a virtual CV. While you have like the traditional one that you can highlight what you've done there, you can equally have samples like this or something like this that allows you highlights in detail all you have done without the limitation of say being a one pager or a two pager or a three pager. No, you can see that with this one it's extensive, it captures everything that she has done. And also I think the final thing I would like to highlight, that it's important when it comes to the aspect of your references, please and please do not share the piece, your information of your reference with your employer until it is requested. Here's what I mean. Imagine that, God forbid, or imagine that you're applying to a company that isn't genuine and you've gone ahead to share the information of relevant people that you've kept to vouch for you. What that does is you're exposing them to harm's way in a sense. And so usually it's advised that you do not share the information of your references until they are requested. And it is up until you've made progress in the recruitment process to a certain level that you can then share that piece of information. So I'll pause here and take any questions if you have any while I get samples of cover letters. Tech for them. Yes. Guys, I'm waiting for your questions. I take it we don't have any questions yet. Okay, no questions are. Okay, Judge wants to know, is it okay to put my experience that are not related to the job you're applying to if you don't have any that fit? Now this is a bit tricky. For me, I would advise that usually if the experience is not relevant to the role, you should include it. But in a case where you don't have a relevant experience, find something in that experience that is closely related to the role you're applying to. Find something that is closely related to the role you're applying to and infuse that. It will be helpful to show that you have worked on something beforehand. Thank you. That was very helpful. Thank you, Shimilori. Do you have specific advice when dealing with automated CV screening? Yes, which was what I highlighted earlier. Make sure that there are important keywords you need to pay attention to in recruiting. So please, when you see a notice for a job role being put out, look through what's it called? Look through the job description, that they would let you know what your roles are. They would let you know the title of the job you're applying to. Now, in a case whereby the thing might be automated and there might be automated screening, ensure that you infuse the keywords. By keywords, so take for example, they're recruiting for a UI UX designer. The keyword in itself is UI UX designer. Make sure that you infuse it quite a number of times in your CV while you're applying. That way, the screening machines get to pick up that keyword and then your CV becomes relevant in the process. Also, when you're highlighting the experiences, because you don't just get to put it once. and you stop. No, you infuse it even in your experiences, highlight it there, how highlight the keyword that is given. This way the machine, the automated CV screening process would pick up yours at different times. I hope you find that helpful. Keywords, like keywords, that is such a lifesaver. Ensure that you infuse the keywords all the time in your CV. Now, George wants to know, how important is a career objective or summary? A lot of templates don't include them. To be honest, that's why I said it's very fluid. It's really up to you to know what you want to do with your CV and how you want to tweak it. You don't necessarily need to put a career, no, you don't need a objective. No, that is really up to you and how you want to move around that. But with a summary, it'll be nice to know what you do, how long you've done that. That's why I give like two liners or three liners, and that's fine. It would just be great to know what you've done and how you've done that succinctly in 2 lines, even though the entire essence of the CV is still to look through and understand what you have done. But again, it would be great to know that, oh, these are the things that you have highlighted, that you have done in 2 or 3 lines. It's not a killer. Like, it is important, but you can work around it. And so now, you guys, you must not, anyways, I trust you people. So, but I'm going to show you a conversation I had with a recruiter, um, and my CV. Now, to cover letter, to be very honest, cover letters, I while they have like their conventional definitions, what I like to call cover letter is your way of virtually meeting your employer, or your virtual introduction to your prospective employer. How do I mean? Cover letters are succinct also. Pardon my use of the word, because in every single thing, especially in the recruitment process, the recruiter sometimes might be short tempered. They might not have time to go through every single detail that you've highlighted in your CV. And so it's important that you respect their time and you highlight only relevant pieces of information in the documents that you send to them. Now, to the cover letter. Cover letter is a way of presenting yourself to your employer. Now, what does this mean? It's basically you letting them know how you heard about the opening, um, you're indicating interest, that you are interested in that role, and then now nudging them to go ahead and look at your CV, right? I hope that makes quite the sense to you. And so I will go on now to show you a sample of my own cover letter. Now, while it is important, I mean, I can show you samples that people, or that the internet, you can go ahead and look for samples of what people on the internet cover letter for job applications. Fantastic. And so I can show you samples, right? And people have like, it's even funny the kind of samples I'm seeing right here. You know what? In your leisure time, just go ahead and Google it. You see that some of them are 2 page long, that like 3 paragraphs and all of that. Those are not necessarily, they're not necessary. All you need to do now, in your cover letter, I will tell you what you need to do and then what would help you stand out. What you need to do in your cover letter is be straight to the point. Let them know where you head of the job application. Let them know you're applying for the role, and then nudge them to look at your CV, right? Now, if you want to stand out with your application, especially for cover letters that are not going to be automated, I don't think they would usually automatically screen them, except for the ones that ask you to upload it as a document on their portal. But in the cases whereby you're asked to send your CV as an email and your cover letter as well as an email to a certain address, this means that people will manually go through it. Now, in order to stand out, you need to do your research on the company that you are applying to. Now, when doing your research, pay attention to um, pay attention to important pieces of information. By that I mean, have they hit any milestones of late? Did they get funding? Did they get a certain award? You know, is there anything worthy of acknowledgement that they have done of late that's been highlighted highlighted. I promise you will find something on their social media platform. Is there something that they are building that is going to help the lives of people exponentially? Find that out and highlight it in your CV. Now, I will show you how that is done. Um, Let me present my entire screen again. I feel like I've shown you people too much, but it's okay. Now, this is a job application I put in 2 years ago, actually 2 years ago, for a communications role. Now, you can see this is my cover letter. Now, please, because it is called cover letter does not mean you should attach it as a document. No. If you have not been told to, do not attach it as a document. Put it in the body of the email, then attach your CV as the document. Now, so this is, I was applying for a role as a communications associate to Tech for Dev. I'm sure you've heard of them, Tech for Dev. I think they got funding of late. And so you can see the title of my email, application for the role of communication associate. In times past, I've seen that people sometimes they apply for things, but they don't even bother putting in the effort. They sometimes the email does not even have a title, there's nobody, they just attach CV. That is a bad practice. Don't do it, please, because you won't make it past that email phase, right? And so when you're applying, again, the role you're applying for, indicates it there, application for so and so, right? In the case whereby you were told to apply via email, if you're doing it via a portal, it's pretty easy. They'll tell you the things to impute, right? And they'll tell you that is when, if you're told to upload your CV and your cover letter as a document, you go ahead and do that. Now, because I knew the specific person I was applying to, that was why I addressed him as Mr. Joel. He's the CEO. And so, and I was referred by someone. So that was what helped me in having like explicit details. Now, before I also went on to do this, I did my research, and this was what I went on to write. I hope my congratulations are in order as regards the success of your program, Women Tech Star program, being selected as one of the 10 solutions showcased at the UN Solutions Summit this year. Now, this first line tells you a lot about the person who's applying. The person is detailed. The person does their homework before applying to the role. And then I went on to say the work the Tech for Dev team is doing is commendable. One can't help but admire and applaud the efforts put towards leveraging technology in creating decent work. It is based on this premise that I indicate interest in the role of a communications associate. Now, I have gone on. First, I highlighted an achievement that they've done. Secondly, I highlighted the work that they do and how it is impacting lives. And thirdly, I then indicated interest in the role. Now, here I am trying to sell myself. In the second part, I'm selling myself. For a role as this, you need one who crafts great sentences, is articulate, has a good command of the language, pays attention to detail, is social media savvy, and can adapt to new environments. I am a good fit with these qualities and more. My varied experience and skill in the edtech space, broadband infrastructure, and now e-transport will certainly be an asset to your firm. Now you can see how, in a subtle way, I have highlighted the soft skills that I have that are relevant in the workplace. I know you might be listening to this, especially considering the fact that I'm talking to developers, and you're wondering, how is soft skills relevant in the grand scheme of things for me? My dear, you'll be working with human beings, not robots yet, but it's equally important to show that yes, you might have the technical skills, but you can also work, you can also be a team player, you can also be a team member. And that because you have the technical skills does not mean that you have disregarded the soft skills that are relevant to function in a workplace. No. And so it's important to highlight these things. In your own case, here it might be great for you as a communication person. Great sentences are important. It's good for me to be articulate. I need to have a good command of the language. I need to pay attention to detail to be able to function well in my role. But in your own case, what are those key things that you need to function in your own role? What are the technical skills you need to have? What are the soft skills that are also relevant that would help you, be a high flyer in your role? These are the things that you're supposed to highlight in the second portion of your email. Now, while you are doing it, don't make it so voluminous that it now becomes so much that your employer might just read and get exhausted. No. In this case, you highlight, which is why I keep insisting on the term succinct. You highlight it in a good manner, so much so that you're not brandishing too much, but at the same time, you're telling them enough that they need to know about you and how you are going to be a fantastic fit into the company. I hope you're getting what I'm saying. And then, if you've had experiences in certain industries, you can highlight them there. If not, you can leave it out. And then I went on to let them know, oh, hey, I would love to discuss what I can bring to this role as I'm invested in leaving an impact in the tech sphere. I can be reached via this. My resume will give you a greater understanding of my qualification. And then I included the fact that I was referred by someone. I look forward to hearing from you, right? Now, this is the CV. Tell me something. If it was you, I applied to a job with this kind of CV, won't you want to call me back? With this kind of cover letter,
Yeah,
rather, not CV, cover letter.
definitely. For me, definitely.
Do you understand? It shows that beyond just even copying and pasting a template that is visible on the internet, it shows that the person has put thought into what they are doing. They've done their research. I mean, the person is not even, you haven't even been interviewed yet, but you have done the work, right? It shows that you are taking initiative while at it. And so I'm going to show you the response from the CEO that I got. And this was his response. He said, "Dear Sonia, thanks for your kind words and thanks for reaching out. We also would definitely love to have a conversation with you around the communication associate role at Tech for Dev. Our talent team, led by my colleague Adenike in copy, would reach out to you to help move this conversation forward on behalf of Tech for Dev. Thanks again for your time. I look forward to further interactions with you. Do have a great week." And so, like I mentioned earlier, if you do your work and you put in the effort with your application, there is no way, and I promise you, there is no way you will not get responses when you apply to a certain role. Now, again, like I was saying earlier, you might want to tell yourself that, oh, but this person is a non-technical person. How do I go about it from the technical angle? There are certain skills I'm certain that are rare. There are certain things that you have done in the time past that not everybody goes about helping people with. Those are the details that you're supposed to highlight. You might look at them as they're random or as though everybody has such skills, but that is not true. Those are things that you should pay attention to and highlight them when you're writing your cover letter. And so you've seen the cover letter, you've seen the response. And for every single time, and this is, I'm not going to lie to you, for every single time I've taken my time to do my research and apply for a role, I have always gotten a call back, always. And it's not just about the quality of the CV, because guess what? It becomes, because you've done your research, it becomes a conversation starter during your interview. The person is like, oh, yeah, so you read about this and this and this. Oh, you mentioned this and this and this in your CV. How did you find out about that about the company? And then you can go ahead to highlight that, oh, these are the things that I found out. And these are how I think that the work you're doing is relevant in so and so space. Do you understand? And then that way you ease into the interview. Sometimes the interview might even just turn out to be you and the employer gisting. And at the end of the day, I mean, the moment you've gotten to that part of gisting, what else is left? The person would want to get someone that is that invested, that person that could take the initiative to put in the work, to apply. And so I have 4 minutes left. Guys, that pretty much is it. I hope that you found something useful from my long talk. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you, Chidi, for having me. I'm open to taking questions now if you have any.
Again.
Thank you, Kimilore. Thank you, Zainab. Thank you, Jacob. Chidi, I'm with you. If you guys have questions, I'm here. Easily. Thank you. Thank you.
Sir,
How do,
good
okay,
afternoon.
how do you? Hi, Azuka. Good afternoon.
Okay, but I have just one question. For someone trying to get into an entry level, maybe your first role, your first job, you might not have the required experience. Most times when you're checking job applications, they're asking for 2, 3 years experience, and maybe all you have are projects. How do you maybe, well, I say, I don't want to use the word sell yourself as someone who is fit for the role, even when it's only maybe side projects you have?
Okay. But the project in this case, is it relevant to the role that you're applying to?
Yes, yes.
Then go ahead and use it. Go ahead and use it. So I would give you an example. I think my first role I applied for the role of a was it communications associate or social media lead, something in that light. And I was just fresh out of school. But in the times past, I led my departmental association, NASELS. And so I used it as experience. I highlighted it there that, oh, I led the team. This was what I and my team were able to achieve. To be very honest there, I feel like work experience in a certain light is utterly glorified. If you have done something in the time past that is relevant, if you've worked on a project and that project you saw it through to the end, and you saw the project through to the end and you achieved a lot while at it, then yes, it is worthy of highlighting. And for the fact that it's an entry level role, it's even commendable that you have worked on projects like that. So, yes, you should use it. You should go ahead and highlight it. If it's documented, then you should also go ahead and share links that can help the people track, or revisit what you've worked on before. I hope you found that helpful.
Yes, I did. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And please, I think I'll just share my name on LinkedIn. My name is Chika Nzekwe on LinkedIn. You can reach out to me there if you need further clarity on anything. Zainab, you said, um, sorry, I'm trying to see clearly. Print. Okay, you said, or you want to know, how do you tailor your cover letter to a role that's not specific?
Good afternoon. Can
Please,
I
would you
say
mind
something?
shedding light? Yes, please go ahead.
All right. So what I'm trying to say is that sometimes that they just bring out they say intent. They are not specific whether they want a machine learning engineering intent or let's say a data scientist intent. Do you understand? So now, do you tailor your cover letter to, you have to like highlight what's it called, your your skills in your cover letter, your achievement, and talk about the company too. Can you tailor it to like what you think the company do and you have skills in that? I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. Can you trust me?
Okay, so if I,
Can you
yeah,
trust
okay. Okay, Zainab, if I heard you clearly, in cases whereby, take for example, the role isn't specific, usually in cases like that, because I know that I've once seen an internship role that was open to people. They were recruiting for like various industries. Usually they would have metrics, or they would have ways that people can apply for things like that. It's usually an application based process, by application test based process. By that I mean they might just tell you to send in your CV. At the end of the thing, they send you a test that needs to be done and all of that. For cases like that, I doubt if they would ask for cover letters. But in cases like that, if you do not have a specific role as highlighted, just give them a generic one. By generic one, what do I mean? You can just speak about, let's see this. Speak about um, where you got the application from, um, or how you heard about the application you are applying, what skills you have, in this case soft skills, because you don't know what technical skill they are looking for. You might also highlight in passing that, oh, but you're skilled in so so and so, and you're looking forward to having a conversation. Just have it versatile, highlight your soft and hard skills, so much so that whichever way it falls, it still favors you. I hope you found that helpful. I have rarely seen cases like that, but with the ones I know, for cases whereby they are doing like a batch recruitment, it's usually just test based. They will give you what's it called? They would open up the application on their portal. Once you register at a certain time, they send you a notification on the test that you're supposed to do, and then after that, they let you know if you've passed or not, and then that's it. So in that's how I think it works. But if it's not that way and they ask you to write a cover letter, write something fluid that would work in your favor, regardless how the thing goes. So highlight your soft skills as well as your hard skills. Let me see if I have one more question. Yes, Shemilore wants to know. Okay. Let me get a link or a file to the CV cover letter sample you shared with us. So the cover letter sample, guys, that's my cover letter. What I can do, huh? Okay, I'll see what's possible. I'll try and combine it in like a document where it does not have like people's information, and I'll share with you. I hope that works, Bolo Atife. Then for the cover letter, I'll do a document with the list of cover letters I know that are readily available. Shemilori wants to know, considering that a lot of us are developers, yes, and there's a strong emphasis on technical skills, absolutely. How important a role does your writing and use of English play? To be honest, you just have to be, do I say excellent? No, you don't have to be excellent. You just need to know how to craft good sentences. By craft good sentences, I mean just know how to use your tenses, know the rules of grammar. Don't tabon in your writing, because while you want an intelligent developer, you don't want someone that's, in the case whereby you don't have a copywriter or you don't have a UX writer, I need someone to write, maybe you're doing front end, I need someone to write the copy. You don't want someone that will screw that up. So while there isn't heavy emphasis, like for developers, your technical skills play the major role as opposed to you having like soft skills and the use of language. But as a seasoned developer, you should be able to use the language. I think I don't know if I had gotten like really paranoid with this, I would have dragged a friend of mine, the co-founder of Get Equity, to come here and speak to you guys. While he's a developer, he's equally an amazing. He has like great diction and all of that. Because guess what? While you are a developer, you should be able to sell yourself. What do you use in selling yourself is English, and so it's important that you find where to strike the balance. Work on your technical skills, work on your code. I mean, know how to do amazing stuff, but also know how to brandish yourself. That's where branding comes in place. If you don't know how to sell what you're doing with language, or what point is it? I hope that helps. Shemilore, did I try? Did I at least address your question? Okay. I take it that we don't have further questions. Ah, fantastic. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Chidi. Thank you, everyone who has listened. Um, Please let's connect on LinkedIn. Let's connect on LinkedIn and then have further conversations. And also, I mean, because you guys are technical people, I don't know if I should sell myself to you. I run a mailing list where I share out like pieces of information that's helpful to recent graduates and young professionals. So if you want to be a part of that, I will share the link shortly. And so you can just subscribe. I think I'm done for the year. Ah, fantastic. Ibrahim, I'm going to connect right now once I log in. Yes, I will connect once I log in. And so it's not, you don't need to find yourself being endeared to be a part of it, but it will be helpful. And I also share, like, what's it called? I share tips that would help. I share opportunities when I find them. Yes. So this is for my newsletter. Let me get the LinkedIn page and share that with you as well. And so that'll be it. Chidi, thank you.
Thank you very much, Chika. I'm so glad to have had you here. It wouldn't have been better, not very short notice. We are so like glad that you present what you had for us today. Thank you a lot. I experienced a lot today. I'm sure that everybody is still a lot being empathic with your cover letters, your research, social media, read about companies, to show they have because as much as you actually want the job and that business offer would help you in some way, the company is also looking for someone to help. So is it like see that passion and that effort and that interest and the interest in the job? That's something I really learned. Thank you very much. Uh, so without taking
Thank you too for having me.
yeah, you're welcome. Without taking any more of them, we're done with today's session. See you again on Monday, where we'll be interview progress from big companies like whatever it's called now, but see what I'm talking about, like the tech giants. So I'll see everyone again on Monday time, and all if you haven't joined the community, what happened in the network right now? Yeah, sorry about the glitch. As I was saying, if you haven't joined the community yet and you just join, I'll be dropping the link in the chat right now. And you can join us, sign up with us, join the community, and we have a lot in store for developers and students that are willing to learn and bridge the gap between school and then the industry. Thanks to everyone once again in attendance. It was nice to have you all.